Greetings and salutations, dear Vikings. Brace yourself as I will teach you lots of tips and tricks to get better understanding of the game and have an easier time moving forward with it. With no further ado, let's jump right into it. In BG3 we have a range of abilities starting with strength going all the way to charisma. The interesting part about it is not the number that we see here, but its modifier that will alter everything in our game from the chance to hit up to how likely we are to succeed in a dice roll check. So let me break it down for you and make it understandable. Let's have a look here at our ability score. Normally it starts at 10. Every 2 steps up will give you a +1, but below 10 it will look like this. 8 to 9 will give you a -1, 7 to 6 a -2, and so on. So that means 10 is a +0, 12 is a +1, 14 a +2, and so on and so forth. And 8 to 9, -1, 7, 6, -2, and so on. I hope you could follow so far. Now, knowing how we get the modifiers, we will also have an easier time to understand what kind of number will be added to our attacks, our spell casting, our dice rolling, and will help us in shaping what kind of character we want to play. Lastly, before your brain melts down, the con modifier shows how much extra HP your character will get per level up, and the dexterity modifier will add extra armor class to the clothes or armor you are wearing. Keep in mind though, medium heavy armor might nullify that dex modifier. Before we talk about percentage to hits and how damage is calculated, let me give you a simple formula. The formula is like this: a dice plus your proficiency modifier plus your ability score modifier. If this already sounds familiar to you and you know already what I'm talking about, jump to the category Alchemy. So knowing this formula, let's talk about hitting. The percentage that is shown to you is how likely are you to roll the number that is shown as the enemy's AC equal to it or above it. Your to-hit roll in this case is a d20 plus your proficiency modifier plus your ability score modifier. So in our example over here, I'm showing you my ranger build that I'm having a walkthrough with at the moment, where I place myself. Link is above if you want to check it out and hop in on the journey. So as we said before, we are rolling a d20, a 20-sided dice. We add our proficiency bonus. In this case, my proficiency bonus is a +2 because I choose to be proficient in simple weapons, and therefore I can use a hand axe with proficiency. So we roll the 20, we add our +2 from the proficiency bonus, and because the axes, or in general weapons, if they are not labeled as finesse weapons, like this dagger over here where it says on the bottom finesse, you will add your strength modifier to it. If it's a finesse weapon, you add your dexterity modifier to it. So in our case here, we have the d20, we have the +2 from our proficiency bonus, and my strength is 16. That means a +3 in the ability score, as we had at the very beginning of the video. That means d20 +2 plus the 3 equals my number that I will roll, and therefore it will show a different percentage on how likely it is for me to hit the DC of, or the AC in this case, armor class of the enemy. So this skeleton over here, for example, has a 15. So how likely is it for me with these modifiers of my side to roll equal and above? So now that we know how to hit something, let's talk about how to do damage on something. In our case, my ranger is using hand axes. Hand axes are based on strength. So we are rolling, again, the formula, dice. In this case, we throw out the proficiency bonus and just have the ability score modifier. So dice plus ability score modifier equals damage. Here it is showing us a 1d6 is the chance of doing damage with a hand axe. That means we're gonna do 1 to 6 damage with a hit. And my strength is 16, therefore the ability score modifier is +3. So these 3 will be added to my roll. In that case, I have a 1d6 +3. That means an equal of a potential from 9 damage that I can do if I land a hit. Luckily, the game is very automated and will calculate everything for you and will show you the numbers, what kind of damage you do, and it will also show you what kind of modifiers come into that output of number down there. and will give you hopefully an easier understanding on how the system works behind it. And I hope also my deep dive here that we had into percentage and damage roll will help you understand the system behind it and help you plan your character accordingly. Up next, let's talk about spells. Spells function very similar to the weapons. They have their formula to determine how to hit and how much damage you do. So in our case here, it is again a d20 plus our proficiency bonus plus our ability score that needs to be rolled from the game in order to determine if we hit. The damage roll, on the other hand, is a little bit more straightforward. It will directly tell you what kind of dice will be rolled for the damage amount, and if the target needs to do some sort of saving throw in order to see if the spell is doing more damage or the spell is successful. Lastly, what I want you to know is there are a difference between cantrips, spell slots and their level of spell, and concentration spells. Cantrips are spells that you can use how often you want. You can spam that firebolt as long as you want to. If you have a target or at the ground, if you so wish, you can use it as often as you want. Spell slots, on the other hand, are limited. They will show you this little blue rectangle and categorize it into a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, and so on spell, and will show you how many of these little blue rectangles you have under each level. Once you cast level 1 spell, a level 1 spell slot will be used up and only regained after a full rest. We're gonna talk about resting a little bit later in the video. Interesting here to know is that you can up-level a spell. Let's take Bless for example. At level 1 it will hit only 3 targets and I can bless only 3 of my companions. If I up-level it to a level 2 and consume the level 2 spell slot with this spell, then it will hit all my party, all 4 members. Important to know, you cannot down-level. You cannot use a level 2 spell and down-level it to level 1. Lastly, concentration spells. Concentration spells have the tag concentration at the bottom of their info card. There are spells that your character will hold up and focus and try to maintain the weave of magic to keep it up. If he gets hit, he will have to do a check in order if he can focus or keep focusing on that spell. If not, it will fade away. And if you start another concentration spell with the same character that is upholding it, again, it will break the first concentration spell that you started. I hope your brain didn't melt until here and you're still with me. Let's move on to the next category. Alchemy is a very helpful and sometimes even powerful tool that a lot of people are not even bothering with or don't even know it exists. While you explore, you pick up all kinds of herbs and shrooms and other ingredients, as well as finding recipes for all kinds of potions. Taking 3 of the same herb, diluting it down into some sort of substance, then combine it with other elements in order to create your potion that will help you in combat, or I don't know, maybe it's your next healing potion that will help you on healing yourself. Speaking of healing potions, a very handy, it just costs you a bonus action to use them to heal yourself. They're starting from small, go up to greater, and so on and so forth. On top of that, what I want to teach you is you can take a healing potion and throw it on somebody and heal him, or you can even go this extra step in order to split 1 healing potion from your stack, drag and drop it on the ground, and hit it. The splash will heal everybody in its radius. Comes very handy, sometimes in tough situations in combats. Your camp is a very powerful tool that will help you organize your inventory, will help you stash things, will help you rest and heal up, and will also give you the chance to have some more intimate moments with your companions if you so wish to. Let's talk about the mechanic about storing. You have your traveler's chest where you can put all kinds of odds and ends in there and keep them for a later use. Most importantly, it would help clear up your inventories a lot. Grab one of your camping backpacks in here where you store your food, throw it in there, and whenever you're outside there and exploring and send in food into your camp, it will automatically be stored into that pouch. Sometimes it doesn't work for everybody, but most of the time, and for myself, it does work. And it is very handy in order to keep a clean inventory and also not have too much carry weight in terms of food with me on my adventures, and henceforth let me loot more because I'm a loot goblin. The same can work with your alchemy stash, where you can put an alchemy pouch in there and send all your ingredients over there, and whenever you're back at camp, bother about doing alchemy. The cool part about it is that you don't have to have those items in your inventory in order to use it. When you go to the campfire and do a long rest, it automatically will draw the food from your traveler's chest into the long rest tool and let you use it from there. So to summarize it, put a camp backpack in here, put your food in here, keep your storage and your inventory clean, and happy looting. Lastly, a very interesting and good mechanic in the camp is to have withers in here. You can find them up here in the ruins by following the path next to the left sides of the statue, clicking that button, have a find encounter, and then you will have a wonderful chat with this odd personality. He will be able to revive people who are dead. He will be able to let you reskill if you want to reskill and you're not happy with your class, or you skilled wrongly into something and you want to take it from the beginning and redo your skilling. And also he will be able to let you hire mercenaries if you don't want to have the origin characters with you. And overall gives you a lot of diversity and possibilities to alter your play. Maybe you do like the persona of an origin character, but you do not necessarily need their class in your group because you are already the mage and you don't need another mage, or you are already the rogue and you don't need another rogue. You can give them a completely different class. It might, for some, break the immersion in terms of like Shadowheart being a cleric of Shar, and I don't know, making her a Selenite might break the parts of the immersion, but it will not alter anything in terms of the game mechanics. You can totally make her a rogue if you want to. That is completely up to you. Oh, one more thing. You can easily grab boxes or chests or anything that is locked that you cannot unlock at that very moment. Pick it up, send it to camp, and then have like some sort of big unboxing in camp where you just open all your boxes at once and see what kind of loot you have gathered and collected. Might be a fun idea. Maybe somebody tries it out. I'm curious. Maybe someone has a screenshot of him having a bazillion of chests in his camp using this method in order to unlock them all at once. That might be a fun idea, actually, to bring it to one of the live shows. Well, since we talked about the camp, let's talk about resting. There are two versions of resting. The one is a short rest, the other one is a long rest. The short rest you can use twice, and it will refill some of your HP. On top of that, it will also refill some of your abilities, especially weapon abilities that you can use if you are proficient with that weapon. For example, the quarterstaff and its topple ability. It will see at the bottom, marking down here, short rest. So basically until the next short rest, you are not able to reuse it once you use it. So it will refill that one plus some HP. The long rest will bring you back to camp, where you will have to click on the campfire in the middle, bring the provisions in that you need for a long rest, well, because your characters need to eat. And it will refill all your HP, it will refill all your spell slots and all your ability that you can use with proficiencies. On top of that, it will often trigger some sort of story mechanic. Maybe somebody sneaks up, maybe something is happening, maybe someone wants to talk to you, maybe you have some sort of strange dream, and overall it feels and makes it very alive. I love long resting in this game. Shoving and jumping is a very powerful tool in this game. It will give you the chance to easily jump over difficult terrain or a hazardous zone if there's like acid or fire on the ground. and also can give you a tactical advantage in order to position yourself on higher grounds to get the higher ground attack bonus. Use shoving to get some distance between you and the enemy. It might give you also the opportunity to run away from the target without triggering an attack of opportunity. Or you could be very evil and just shove them off a cliff and make them die instantly. Overall, a very powerful tool. Definitely use jump and shove as much as you can. Definitely make use of your environment. Have a look for puddles, for barrels, and anything alike that you can use into your advantage during battle. Like in this scenario, there is a tank that is leaking, and hitting the tank will not only cause the tank to explode, but also set all the liquid that is running out of it ablaze, because it is very flammable. Also, standing on elevated positions and shooting down will give you advantage on your attack rolls. Well, we all remember the situation between Obi-Wan and Anakin, right? He had the high ground. Well, since we are speaking about high ground, there is a very nasty and cheesy tactic that you can use if you wish to, and I call it the Crate-O-Top. So the Crate-O-Top works like this. You go around, you grab a crate, you grab a second crate, you grab a third crate, you put them into your inventory, and whenever you know there is a fight coming up, you just put one crate over each other, jump with your range character on top of it, or with your mage if you want to shoot that from up above and down below, and voila, you have advantage on your attacks. Well, since we talked a lot about mechanics and all kinds of tactics, let's talk about a few hotkeys that are interesting and helpful for you. For example, while hitting and holding Alt, it will highlight everything that is in range of view of your characters in order to interact with them, items on the ground, bodies that are lying around, and showing you if you have looted them already or not. A very useful button. Left Alt. The next one is the funky button next to the 1 and below the escape button. I don't know the English term for it, but that funky button will highlight your characters and every enemy and every NPC within the vicinity, and will give you a little bit of an advantage in terms of like planning your positioning before you strike. Talking of planning and striking, hit O in order to tilt your camera to a top-down view to have this kind of RTS, more strategical overview in order to, well, just have a better overview. Up next, holding shift will show you the line of sight of your enemies, highlighted in red to see where they are looking and in which direction they're looking. And if you now combine shift and C and have your group grouped together, well, all your members will go into sneak mode. And lastly, when you loot a container, just hit space to loot everything out of it. Well, there is one more, the T button. So clicking T while hovering over an item will lock the item info bar, so you can hover with your mouse over the info and get a better or deeper understanding. And on top of that, if you hover with your mouse over an enemy and hit the T button, it will pop up its character card, and you can see in an instance what resistances and what AC the character has. Let's talk about trading. While you talk to NPCs, besides your, of course, typical trader, have an eye out for that hand and coin symbol on the bottom left that will indicate you that you might have a chance or potential to trade with this character. I don't know, maybe they have some hidden item that you can buy from them. Keep in mind though, they often do not have the coin, so you cannot sell things from them, but just buy things from them. Traders themselves and merchants are very simple. If you go with the character with the highest charisma to the trader, your prices will be better. If you barter with them in their benefits, so they have a profits and make a better margin out of your trade, they will start to like you more. Liking you more will lead to getting even better chances, or not better chances, but better prices. So if you have a merchant where you want to buy a set of armor or a lot of items, maybe dump some, well, bad gear or collected gear that you don't need anymore and gift it to him in order to boost the relationship with that character, and then buy everything else that you want a lot cheaper. Also, a mechanic that was at the beginning in the game, I'm not sure if they patched since then, is if you level up after you talk to a merchant, did your deals, and he's down to 0 coins and has no money anymore, they are resetting when any of your character is leveling up. Could be though, don't take me for granted here, that this has been maybe fixed or considered as a bug and is not in the game anymore. But if it does, you could sell, level up, and sell again. You catch my drift. Lastly, another powerful tool is shift click. You can click on an item and then you can shift click on another item and it will take everything in that row with it and mark it. Then you can right click it and say add to wares. And now when you go to a trader, you can go out from the Baldur tab into the trade tab and just click on sell all wares, and voila, everything is sold at once and you don't have to button smash and start a new minigame of selling items by who can click the mouse fastest. Let's talk about dipping your weapon. Dipping your weapon gives you an early advantage in your combat in order to make your weapon a flammable weapon, for example, and give your first hits an additional fire damage to it. I call this the candle trick. Grab a candle, have it in your inventory, drop it on the bottom in front of you, activate the candle, click on dip, click on the candle, and voila, you have a fire weapon. But just don't forget after the battle to pick up the candle again so you can, reuse it. Let's have a quick chat about the attack of opportunity mechanic. What happens here is if you move into melee range of a character and move out of it, there is the attack of opportunity, basically a free attack that will happen for you or against you, depending if you are moving away, of course. And on top of that, keep in mind that you should always equip your melee weapon when you are in melee range with another character. Because if you have your range weapon out and the enemy is moving away from you, you will not trigger the attack of opportunity. You got a problem that you're a loot goblin and you have tons and tons of equipment with you and you don't know what you want to put on your character? Well, there is a very easy way to have a look what is available for each slot of your character's equipment. By doing so, just go into your inventory, click on the slot, and ta-da! It shows you what kind of items you can equip for that specific slot. When playing BG3, there will be a lot of dice rolling, and for those who don't know, bottom left, there is a little dice with a cogwheel. At the moment, if you have the deluxe version, you can change it to the deluxe version skin. So whenever you roll a nat 20, you have Larian Studios' head. Whenever you roll a nat 1, you'll have a Mind Flayer staring back at you. And of course, it will change a little bit the skin and the colors of it. I can predict that there will be later down the line probably some sorts of dice packs to, I guess, purchase. I don't think they will be free of downloads, and that will alter maybe the dice effects and have different colors and different sprinkles that happens while you dice rolling. So keep an eye out for those. Let's have a quick chat about classes and multiclassing. So it's a very interesting topic in terms of like what class should I pick, what class should I play, and I think the topic is so broad that I would need a complete video of its own just covering it all. So let me know in the comments down below if we should do a breakdown of each class and go into their subclasses and possibilities of multiclassing with them. But in general, the classes are designed in a way that their most powerful things are coming very early. So it will give you a chance in trying out all kinds of different combinations and builds if you want to go down the multi-class part or path. Keep in mind though that I recommend, you don't have to, I recommend you to at least to go up until level 4 with a class where you get the attributes feed increase. So each level 4 and 8 and 12 and so on, you will get the ability to either increase your ability score or pick a feat. And I highly encourage you to only start diverging into other classes once you captured or grabbed that attribute increase or feat, because it will make your life a lot easier, your battles a little bit easier, and overall the survivability better for your character. And therefore, I will put a very useful link in the comment section down below, leading you to D&D Beyond. It's completely free to use, and you can have a look at all the character sheets and see at what level you would unlock what kind of skill, and at what level you get your attribute points, and at what level you get an extra attack, and help you plan out your sheet better. If you need any help with a multi-class idea, or you can't figure it out, or you have this kind of character in your head but you don't know how to put it into motion, let me know in the comments down below, or hop into our Discord and let's talk about your class. I'd gladly help you. Now let's talk a little bit about the UI. At the bottom, in the middle section, you have different tabs that will reshape your hotkeys into the specific category. For example, command, then you have passive abilities, etc. It will help you maintain some sort of order. And one section that I very much love is your custom section, where you can design and put your kinds of ability rows into it, maybe the abilities that you use most. Put it in there for an easier approach into utility, and also to be just faster during combat. Nearly right next to it, there's this little plus and minus button that will just give you more and more hotkeys if you need those, or take more and more hotkeys away if you have your set of abilities that you are cycling through every time with that character anyways. I hope this all was very informative and helpful for you. If you liked it, please thumbs up and leave a comment down below what kind of tip or trick has helped you out most today watching this video. Also, on top of that, it shows me that you want more of this. And one topic that will be interesting for me is a complete breakdown or guides for each individual class, giving each class its own video to break it down and showcase it to you, how it's functioning, what kind of subclasses there are, and what kind of maybe potential multi-builds or multi-class opportunities are lurking within said class. Let me know in the comments down below if that would be something interesting for you. And as mentioned before, if you need any help with the game itself, hop into our Discord, Baldur's Gate channel, and I'll gladly help you there with your builds, with specific questions, or anything I can do to help you on your walkthrough or play. Lastly, I'm recording a walkthrough where I play as myself, picturing me into the world of Faerun as a ranger, and I'm having a little twist on it. I'm making a strength build, very atypical to a ranger, who's normally a dexterity build class, and will also very likely multi-class him down the roads. It's a very slow and lordy walkthrough, as I will voice act him, I will roleplay him, and I'll probably just try to turn around every nook and cranny and stone that I can find in the game. And we'll definitely have some sessions where I'll just sit down by the fire and read through some of the books that I found in the game, because I adore the lore, I adore the game, and I'll definitely see some campfire episodes coming up. Well, thank you kindly for watching the video, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.